I started climbing when I was at university. A friend of mine told me about the uni climbing club and I'd wanted to try it out for a while, so I went along to one of the sessions and was hooked. When I started at the hangar, I watched the route setters come in and create new blocks with interest, but I never really thought I could become a setter because I thought you had to be climbing ridiculously hard. Also, there weren't any female route setters in the company, and while I don't think I consciously saw that as another reason why I couldn't be a setter, I think when you don't see people like you being represented, it's harder to imagine yourself in that environment. After a while, I was given the opportunity to join a team by the hangar's climbing director, Dan Knight. In the beginning, there were certain parts of the job that I struggled with. The main one was probably to do with testing and how useful or useless, I suppose, I felt when testing the blocks that were above my ability. I would often doubt myself and thought that surely a stronger climber who could climb everything really easily would make a better setter because they could provide maybe more useful advice on the harder climbs. Even though I had and still have an amazing team around me, at the beginning I kind of saw myself as an imposter, or at least thought that's how others would perceive me. I think that goes back to previously believing that to be a route setter you have to be the best climber. Not being able to climb V100 is actually an advantage as a route setter because I think I can feel the difference between some of the lower end grades better. While the number of women climbers is catching up to the number of men, there are still far fewer female route setters. We need more women in route setting so that the climbs are tailored to everyone. Generally, women climb slightly different to men as we can't always rely on sheer power in the same way that men often can. Also, there are certain physical differences, height and weight for example, that can change the way we climb the same blocks. We need more female route setters and testers so that these differences aren't forgotten about. Being a female route setter does have its challenges though. Luckily I have the most wonderful and supportive team around me and my ideas are valued as much as anyone else's. However, sometimes from the wider climbing community, I do feel the difference between myself and my male colleagues. People often don't assume that the block that they love or have projected for weeks could have been set by a female. I've been met with surprise numerous times when I've told people that the block that has challenged them has been set by me. I've also had experiences where people have taken beta from my male colleagues on a block that I have set over mine, even though I have just told them the exact same beta only minutes earlier. Perhaps these experiences are because I don't climb as hard as the other setters, or maybe it's because I'm female, it's hard to tell. Either way, I've learned to embrace the many other positive comments and experiences instead. We can encourage more women to get into route setting by holding female-only route setting workshops where women who are interested in setting can come along, experience what it's like to set a block and hopefully realise that it doesn't matter who you are, male or female, climbing V1 or V10, anyone and everyone can be a route setter. We also need more in-house training so that women who are already working in climbing gyms and are interested in route setting get the same opportunities as men. And we need to have more open conversations about the gender imbalance in route setting and how we can change this. I love being a route setter because I'm able to get really creative and I don't think there is any other job like it. Although it can be really physical and tiring at times, seeing a completed set and watching people enjoying your blocks is really rewarding. I think as setters we're responsible for creating climbs that teach people new moves and techniques which will help them to become better climbers. I know that I have learnt so much from my fellow setters and I think that we're responsible for passing on this knowledge in the blocks that we make.